record? Now it's recording. All right, the first one that we're going to look at, and I'm not even positive if these are on your papers, but it's a good review. B diminished by 14. B diminished by 14.
What paper is that?
Pardon?
What paper was that?
It may be one that I was going to give you today. So there's a possibility that you do not have this paper. But that's okay. Put it down in your notes so that you will have it. I may be surprising you with this one. Okay? All right. Did you get it written down? B diminished by 14. Now this is a new vocabulary word. We found out that on these worksheets, they've added a lot of little vocabulary words to us. Diminished means it's going to get smaller and smaller. So this is going to be a minus. All right. And so if we write this expression, notice that it doesn't have an equal sign anywhere. So it's an expression. An equation has an equal sign. So B, this is not a switch phrase. Our switch phrases are less than and more than. This is simply a minus. Diminished means minus, so we say minus and 14. Okay? Diminished is what I wanted you to see here. B minus 14. Any questions there? Okay, speak up if you have any questions. I love it that I can still see your voice or your face and sometimes hear your voices. Okay, let's do 10. 10 times t, this is a t. All right. So what we need to do here, is everybody ready? So I don't see any switch phrases. Switch phrases are less than and more than. This simply says 10 times means multiply. So I have times t, and then divided by, you could either put a divide, but it's better to divide by 3. So in this case, if you were using this in an equation and trying to solve it, it would be a 10 times t up here, or you can write it crammed together because that also means time. It means times when two things are crammed together. 10t. All right? Mary, so that we can have you on recording that you were on the Zoom, can you show your face for just a little while so they'll know who iPhone is? That's awesome, Mary. Thank you. You don't have to leave it on if you don't want to, okay? We just need to have proof that that's you, okay? I see Naomi. Do I? Did Naomi just come in?
Yes.
Good, good, good. Excellent. Okay, everybody get this? Do you have any questions on this one? We're starting with short
No.
ones. We're going to increase to equations here in a minute. All right. Now this one is a thinker. A thinker, not a stinker.
That one's interesting.
Yes, it is, Randy. Mhm. Okay, the first thing that we want to look at here is that we have a switch phrase. Okay, so this being our switch phrase, you can incorporate that at the beginning, or you can write this thing in order, remembering that we'll have to switch in a minute. Okay, whichever way. I think this might be Naomi that's wanting in. I'm letting Naomi in, and if I can see your pretty face just for a little while so we can make sure that it's you. Good morning. How's your daughter? Can you hear me yet, Naomi? I just want to know how your daughter's doing.
She said she's doing good. There you go.
She's doing a lot better. I'm glad. I hope nobody else is sick. What we decided to do is that everybody needs to mute. And if you want to talk to me, hit the space bar. Because it is causing a
We can't hear you, Deborah. Oh. Your microphone is off. Deb.
all right. Okay, thank you, Rebecca. Okay, everybody mute so that there won't be that backlash with the voice, okay? And if you want to talk to me, just hit the space bar, okay? All right, if you're working this, you should notice right off that this is a switch phrase. Now, probably what would keep your brain straight the best is that you make sure you know this is a switch phrase. Let's write it in order first. R less than means minus. So we're going to use a minus with a marker that works. R minus 1/8 we write as a fraction, 1/8. Now this is not the answer because less than is a switch phrase. So that's telling me that we have to switch places around the minus sign. So the correct way to write this is 1/8 minus R. This is the correct way. Okay. Watching for other people coming on. Okay. Any questions on that one?
No, we're good.
Okay, let's look at the next one. I'm just looking on different pages. And those of you that just came on, there's a real good chance that what I'm looking at might not be on a paper you have yet. It may be something that I was going to give to you today. Okay, some of you asked this question. Ratio of M and 7 added to 2. There's a couple of questions in this one, so let's talk about these. We've talked about it once. Well, the ratio we have not. So write that down first, and then we will talk about this. Okay, now a ratio means divide, okay? Later on, we're going to have ratios. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Deborah. A ratio is divide, so it can be written either A divided by B, or when we do ratio later, it can also be written as A to B, or a ratio can actually be written as A to B. Now, in these worksheets that we're working on, we're going to use this for ratio because we look at ratio as a fraction, or in this case, divide. Okay, ratio means divide. So we're going to use this one for now. All of these mean the same thing. Okay, so when we talk about this, we're going to have a ratio. So we know we're going to have a fraction of, and this tells us what to divide, M and 7. We'll do it in that order. M goes on top, 7 goes on the bottom. It's important. Okay? But it says this needs to be added to the number 2, which means you can't add this to anything until the 2 exists. Do you understand? It's a little picky, but this is saying that this ratio is added to something that already exists. So our actual answer should be 2 because it already exists, and then we're going to add our ratio. This is the correct answer to translating this above here. Let me get this part out and this part out so it's not so confusing. 2 plus M over 7. Do you understand what I'm saying when I talk about the 2 has to be there first before anything can be added to it?
No.
No. Okay. Naomi says yes. Somebody made a comment, probably Irene. Was it Irene? Somebody.
It was her. It was her.
It was Irene. Everybody's kind of looking at Irene. Okay. Okay. I'll do this more. Okay. When we add, this has to be added to that. That has to happen first. We'll do more. You'll get it. Now in addition, it's really not that big a deal, but subtraction, you better get it in order. Okay, subtract a half from the product of 2 and B. This is a long one, so what we're going to do is take it apart, think about it, talk about it. When it's subtraction, the order that you put things in is very, very, very important. Sometimes you can accidentally get away with it, with doing the wrong thing in addition, but not subtraction. All right, let's talk about this. We're going to talk about some pieces. Subtract, of course, means minus. How do you write a half? Somebody use their space bar. How do you write a half?
1/2.
Thank you. 1/2 from the product. Now, what does the product tell us to do?
Use the parentheses.
Use parentheses. Who was that? That was awesome.
It was me, Rachel.
Rachel, awesome. When it says product or sum or difference or whatever, it says to use parentheses, and in the middle, product says times. So the parentheses has to have times in it. And it says the product of these. Remember, right after that word, it's going to tell you what to put here and here. Okay? So here, it says 2 and B. So now let's look at this. It says subtract a half from this. So if I've got to subtract a half from something, that something has to be there first. So it should look like this. 2 times B. And then I'm going to subtract a half from that. Do y'all see it? Okay. And to make it even more efficient, we know that 2 times B, we can leave out the times and cram it together, and it means the same thing. So now I have 2B minus 1/2, which is what you'll probably see on your answer sheet. This is another one where where in the beginning it says subtract 1/2. So you would think that would go first, but it says I have to subtract a half from something that already exists. Okay? I can't subtract a half until I put what exists in the beginning. Am I just talking gibberish for you?
No.
No. And some of you are just going, yes, but I'm not going to say so. Okay. I love you guys so much. Okay, you understand what I'm talking about here? Just a little bit about, do I think I can do this? Okay, let's move to some equations that we have to write and even solve. And then a couple of inequalities, okay? Wow, there's a lot of those. Hang on. I'm not getting to them yet. Aha, here we go. Let's do these. These you may have received. $13 more than X is greater than 14. So we look here. What is this? Push your space bar.
Is it adding?
It is adding, that is correct. Do we know anything else about the phrase more than?
Not me.
More than, more than or less than? More than or less than is? A switch phrase. More than and less than are switch phrases, which means I am going to use a plus, but in order to use the plus on more than, I have to switch the things around it. So I have X plus 13. How do I write this? Yes, ma'am. Good. Vanessa, I see it. Is greater than 14. Now, since this is an equation or an inequality, we learned yesterday how to solve these. And we found out that the steps are exactly the same as the steps we used in equalities with the equal sign. So let's solve this. We know we have to have the line down through the sign. And we circle our variable. That tells us to work on this side. We want the X by itself. So I have to get rid of the 13. And the way I get rid of a plus 13 is a minus 13. Be very careful to put your sign to tell yourself what you're doing so that you can copy it on the other side. If you just put 13 here and you're thinking minus, but you just put 13 there, you're going to add. So make sure and use your sign. And now we're going to have a new inequality because of this. So we bring down our X. We use the same sign. X is greater than 1. Now, we talked about yesterday that sometimes in our next step we switch the sign, but that is only if I divide or multiply by a negative. Yes, there's a negative here, but it's not divided and it's not multiplied. So we do not change the sign here. Is everybody okay with that? Now what we're going to do is graph it because we learned that yesterday also. And so we're saying, here's the number line, and the reason that we're only using one line instead of the coordinate graph is because I only have one variable. If I have one variable, we graph on one line. We decided that when we graph an inequality, I better not have that line through here because we also will have is not greater than, so I don't want those lines there, okay? So we decided yesterday that we're always going to have a place setter. We're going to put the 0 so we kind of know where we are on the number line. And then we have to graph the important number, which happens to be the answer. So we're going to find 1 over here somewhere. And because it's at the important number, we're going to circle it on the line. Don't circle the 1 up here. I've seen people do that. Don't do that. It's the important number. And now we have to make a decision which direction we're going to shade on this line. Okay. Now remember, we're going to interpret this as X representing all of the numbers that are greater than 1. So we have to show on our line here all of the numbers that are greater than 1, like 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So which way am I going to shade? Tell me right or left.
Right.
Right, good. We're going to shade to the right. And one of our clues was as long as the X is on this side, we can look at the sign and we know we're going to shade that way because it's pointing that way, okay? Now we found out yesterday while you all were doing your assignment, we found out that sometimes the X is on the other side after you finish solving. So let me show you what happens there and kind of talk to you about how I think it out. Let's say that you had a problem, and I'm not going to give it to you right now. I'm just going to tell you what the answer came out to be, okay? Maybe it said -13 is greater than or equal to X. Now we just got through saying that if the X was on the left side, then we know we're going to shade to the left because of this sign, right? But that only works if the X is here on the left-hand side, okay? If the X is on the right-hand side, what we need to do is be very, very careful. You can't shade that way because the X isn't over here, and that's what we're used to. So what I figured out and what helps the students is, well, let's just fix it so the X is over here. It makes more sense to us, okay? It makes more sense to me. I do it. So imagine that this is on a card or a piece of paper. We're not going to do anything mathematically, but what we're going to do is take the entire inequality and just flip it over so that we have the X on the other side. This is not mathematical. It's simply turning this equation over so that it looks better. So you've got to be very, very careful when you do that. That means the X will be over here and the -13 will be over here, which is fine. You must be very careful because we also are flipping this. Now, the way that I check this is I go back up here and I say, in the original answer, the little tip is pointing towards the X. So I want to make sure that the little tip is still pointing towards the X. And then I know that I wrote it correctly. One more time, when we flip, just to make this easier to look at and easier to graph, when I flipped this, it's nothing mathematical. It's no math steps. It's simply flipping it over so it's easier to graph. Now, in this case, if we graph this, we have our place setter here and we find our important number, which is -13. We circle it because it's important. And then we found out yesterday that if the sign has this, it means it's equal to, if the line is under the inequality sign, then it's not only less than negative 13, but it's also equal to negative 13. And now, which way will I graph this? Which direction will I shade on my number line? To the left. That's exactly right. See, the X is on the left, and so I can use this as a clue. Do you see that if you saw this, you might shade in the wrong direction? Yes?
Yes.
But you have to make sure to flip this answer so that you can see which way you definitely should shade. Is that clear as mud?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll do it some more. I love y'all's honesty. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, we also, Randy brought these to my attention yesterday, the at least and at most. Okay, so let's try, and I think you have this paper. It's OS1, Translating Linear Inequalities, OS1. If it is number 4 on OS1, Translating Linear Inequalities. Okay. It says X reduced by 13 is at least, there should be a space there, 15. Now, at least does indicate an inequality, and we're going to use our common sense as well as our knowledge of inequalities. Okay, what does reduced? What does this vocabulary mean?
Subtraction.
Subtraction, that is exactly right. Okay, reduced by 13 is at least. That one was hard for me also when I started to learn these, but let's just break that down. Right now we have X reduced by 13. And then we need a sign here, and it is at least 15. Okay? So now, take a breath. And if I say I have at least 6 cookies, do I have 6 cookies? Do I have more cookies? Because I have at least 6 cookies. So I have 6, but I can have more than 6, can't I? Okay, so I can have more cookies, but at least 15. I know that it's equal to 15 because I have 15 if I have at least 15 cookies. But I might have 16. I'm not telling you, but I have at least 15. So I could have 16 or 17 or 18. So it's going to be greater than or equal to. Now, Randy and I figured out something yesterday. He figured it out before I said anything. Little smarty. I'm glad you figured this out, Randy. What he did is he said, if it says is at least, that's this, right? But you're going to do the opposite of that. If it's at least, that's smaller, then we're going to turn it around and the sign we need is more than, and it didn't have an equals, so we use like the opposite sign. Is that right, Randy? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of what he figured out yesterday. I like to think about it as cookies or whatever it says, but here is how this should be written. Is at least 15, so that means it's equal to 15. And it could be anything greater than 15. It'll be something you have to work out in your head the way you want to work it out. Let's go ahead and solve this and graph it because we're learning all of this stuff at the same time. And you guys are doing an amazing job of it. We know that we're going to draw a line down through the sign. And then we circle our variable. And when we do, we know which side to work on and we know what we need to get rid of. We need to get rid of the minus 13 by adding. Again, be sure and put your sign, even though you know in your head what you're doing, it's better to write the sign. It also helps me if you make a mistake somewhere, then I can see what you planned to do. But mostly it's so you don't get mixed up. So over here, we have the same number with opposite signs. This is a zero pair or additive inverse. So now we have an X on this side. Did we divide or multiply by a negative?
Add.
Right, we didn't divide or multiply by a negative, so we don't have to change the sign. That's what I was getting at. We did not divide or multiply by a negative, so we leave the same sign. Again, that's not a not. Okay. To 28. Okay. And so we're going to graph. Since we have one variable, we know we have one line. 0 is our place setter, and now we're going to find our important number, which is 28. It should be here somewhere. 28. We circle it because it's very important. Now we have two decisions to make. Do we color the circle in?
Have to,
Yes, we do. And why, Randy?
because it's at least equal to.
Because of this line, because it's equal to. That is correct. We have another decision to make. Rachel, which way am I going to shade?
The right.
To the right, you are correct. Because X is already over here, I know this is my clue. But also X is everything greater than or equal to 28. So it has to go this direction. You guys do know that I was very sneaky and I put in 3 lessons in one. You learn to translate. Well, maybe 4, because you learn to translate. You learn to solve inequalities. You learned what an inequality was. And then you also learned to graph it. Very proud of you. Very proud of you. Okay, let's do a few more, or maybe 1 or 2 more. And then I want to point out some of the vocabulary words in the worksheet that are strange. And we'll talk about those. Okay, let me see here. Okay, here's one. So we can use this at least and at most.
Irene is trying to join.
Thank you. Ask her if she's Galaxy. She can show me her face, okay?
Okay.
Hey, Galaxy. Hi. Do you have a question about what you're doing, or you just want to join in? Oh, it says you're still connecting to the audio, so I'll wait just a minute. Maybe Rebecca can tell me what you're saying. It's taken a while. I asked her, I was asked, go ahead.
Oh, she says she can hear you, but I don't know why you can't see her.
I can see her. I cannot hear her yet. It's
Oh,
still,
she's not talking.
well, it just says it's connecting to the audio. So even if she tried to answer me,
You
she
see?
couldn't yet. So Rebecca, since she can hear, I was just asking her if she's coming on for questions on her practice test.
No,
Or
no, she's wanting to join us.
good. Okay. Okay. It's still saying connecting to audio, so I don't know what's going on. You may get to translate for us, Rebecca. Okay. The value of X. Well, that isn't any kind of mathematical thing. It's just a value of X. You know, I've always told you here, the value of X is all of these numbers. And so they're just saying X. Okay, the value of X is at most. Okay, so if it says at most or at least or anything like that, it's talking about an inequality. So we've got to stop and think about that. Okay, is at most 8. So if you tell somebody, I have at most 8 cookies. So do I have 8 cookies? I have at most 8 cookies. So do I have 8 of them?
Yes.
Yes, I do. At most 8. So I know it's equal to 8. Now, is this going to be less than or greater than? At most means the most cookies I have is 8. So do I have 9 cookies? No, I do not. So it can't be greater than 8, can it? Okay, you just have to think it out. So at most, that means the most cookies that I have is 8. So it can be equal to 8, but I don't have 9 or 10 or 11 cookies. The most cookies I have is 8. But I might have 7. I might have 6 cookies. I might have 5
So
cookies.
it will be equal less.
Less than or equal to 8. That is exactly right. It is the at most and at least, those things you just have to think about. But if we use Randy's idea again, at most means big, right? At most means big. And so I have to use the opposite sign, less than. I don't know, whichever one you want to use. I can see some faces going, I will never get this. Let's graph it. You will get it because I know you and I see how hard you work. Okay, here's our number line. We only have one variable, so we only have one line to graph on. We're going to find 0 as our place setter, and we're going to find our important number on the number line. So there's 8. Okay, we're going to circle 8 because it's important. 0 is not so important right now, but 8's important. Okay, now, do I color the circle in? Yes, I do. Why, Rachel? I see you shaking your head. I mean, nodding. Why?
Because it is more than
It
8.
is equal to.
Oh, equal to.
When I see this equal right here, I know I have to color it in. That says X can be 8, okay? And then which way do I shade, y'all?
To the right. My bad. Left.
You have to look at your sign. X is here, so this is the less than sign. X represents all numbers that are less than or equal to 8. So you will highlight here. Don't just highlight from the 0. The 0 is just a place setter. We highlight from the important number. Okay? You guys are tired this morning. A little bit jittery. Okay. Oh, here's one also that you might hit. Oh, Irene, it looks like your audio's working. So if you want to talk to me, you can now. Well, it says it's working, but I'm not hearing you. Nope. Let me see here. What's going on? No, it doesn't even, it says you don't even have a microphone. And one of the iPhones doesn't have a microphone. Yeah, I think it might be Vanessa. I'm not sure what's going on. We'll just try it again next time. For right now, you can just tell someone else if you want to talk to me, okay? All right.
They're saying that they're on mute, that's why.
Well,
But I mean, if they need to ask a question, we'll let them, I mean, we'll let them talk through our computer or whatever.
okay, I appreciate that. I know that Irene doesn't have a microphone right now. It's not showing. But I have 3 that are showing up as iPhone. So
Yeah, she said she's fine. She can hear and she has a question. She'll ask one of us.
okay, then we're just not going to worry about it. Here we go. The product. What does the product tell us to do?
Parentheses.
Parentheses and product means multiply. So we put multiply right here in the middle. We don't use an X for multiply because there's an X in the problem and we might get mixed up with the variable X and the multiply sign. So the product of is going to look like this. And then the next 2 things tells us what goes in those parentheses. So right now we have the product of X and 7. Okay, now here is what I want you to see. Is not greater than. So we could do this, is not greater than, but I don't want to do that. Okay, Randy and I talked about that one yesterday, but what the better way is, if it's not greater than, then it has to be, come on, push the space bar. If it's not greater than, then it has to be
less than.
less than or equal to. It's just not greater than, so it's going to be less than or equal to. Do y'all see? Oh, I put it 21. And then, since there's nothing else to do with these parentheses, like a divide or anything, then we can write this crammed together as 7x is less than or equal to 21. And then if I'm going to solve this, then I circle the x. I have to get rid of the 7. It's multiplied right now, so I'm going to divide by 7 and divide by 7. I didn't divide by a negative, so I leave the sign the same. And now I have x is less than or equal to 3. Everybody okay with that? And then we graph. 0 is our place setter. The important number is 3. Circle it because it's very important. Because it's equal to, we're going to color it in. And it says x represents all numbers less than or equal to 3. If x is all the numbers less than 3, I need to color this direction. Okay, unless there are any questions right now, I think I'm going to stop the lesson because you guys look like you're either tired or just anxious to get started on those papers. I gave you enough papers yesterday. Naomi, since I took the papers with me home to get them all sorted out, you're going to need to maybe go downstairs and get copies of someone's papers, or you can sit with someone and copy them down, either one.
Can we go down to the office to make copies?
Yes, you can.
Because I don't have any extras. And we're just gonna go ahead and go downstairs and make extras.
That sounds good. Just find out how many. I know Naomi needs yesterday's papers, and you might find out who else needs. Just check with
Okay.
everybody. There's 2 papers that I was going to have to get copies of that not everybody got. So you guys just compare and then go downstairs and get some copies. I'm going to leave the recording running because when I do a Zoom at home, we need to show that you guys stayed on for a certain amount of time. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right here just like I am in class for you to ask questions. Everybody good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm here for you.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
8. Yo me quería ir. No podemos. No podemos.
Deborah.
Did someone say my name?
Yes. I was needing some help.
Who needs help? Because, okay. Yes, ma'am.
X diminished by 3/5 of X is equal to 10. You're muted or something.
Is equal to what?
10.
10. Okay. Line down through the equal sign. Circle your variable. Okay. When you circle your variable, what do you need to get rid of?
3/5?
Yes. Right now it's a minus 3/5. So you're going to plus 3/5. This is a good one to look at. If you add it on this side, you have to add it on this side, right? So now this zeroes out and you have X equals, that's the easy part, right? Okay, do you have your calculator on your desk? Okay, then just use it for this. You're going to say 10 and then plus on your calculator. And then to write this on your calculator, you're going to put a 3 divided by 5. Okay,
All right.
Do that and let me know what you get.
10.6.
Okay, this is correct. You got 10.6. But what, and that is the correct answer. But what if all of your multiple choice answers are in fraction form? Then all you have to do is use that toggle switch on your calculator. It's right above the enter key. Hit that once, and it should give you a fraction that is the same as that decimal. The toggle switch looks like this. It has an arrow going this way and an arrow going this way. Oh. Did it work?
We found it.
Okay, this and this are exactly the same answer, but sometimes in your multiple choice, they might ask for a decimal or they might ask for a fraction in its lowest terms. So whichever one you get on your calculator, just use your toggle switch and it will give you the other one. But both of these are exactly the same answer. Are you okay with that, Rachel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you need it up on the board anymore?
No, I wrote it down.
Okay, that sounds great.
I ran into one big challenge.
Okay.
Twice the sum
Nice.
and 3 twice the sum of x and 3 is less than 5.
This one might be a good one for everybody to watch if they want to. This is something a little bit more advanced and you need to see it. So anybody that is interested, we need to talk about this. Okay, we found out in our vocabulary words that twice means 2 times. Okay? Twice means 2 times. I hope everybody's watching. We may be doing this again tomorrow. Okay. The sum of, what do I need to know about the sum of? What do I do?
Add.
We know it's add, and if we see the word sum, what else do we know?
Parentheses.
Parentheses. And the very next stuff, it says of, and it tells you the 2 things around the and. It tells you what things to put in your parentheses, x and 3. Okay, so we're done to here. Is less than. So I'm going to use the is less than 5. So now here's how it looks. 2 times the sum of x plus 3 is less than 5. Okay? And we'll go ahead and solve that together. This involves the distributive property here. Okay, If you have a number that's out front, and usually it won't have the times, it will be an understood times. I think of this guy, since this is like a barn or a warehouse and it's locked, this is the guy with the key, okay? He's the one that can unlock it. So we have our line down through the equal sign, line down through the equal sign. And here is our variable. It's very tempting to come up in here to try to just walk into that warehouse and pull out the 3. You can't do that because it's locked. So what you're going to have to do instead is use your distributive property to unlock this. And so we're going to take 2 times this first piece and 2 times the second piece. Okay, 2 will unlock this. Now we know that X has an understood 1. So when I take 2 times 1x, I get 2 times 1 is 2, but it also, X is part of the deal, 2x, and then we use the plus sign, and then we have to multiply 2 times the other piece, which is 2 times 3, and it's going to be 6 is less than 5. Now from here, it gets better, because now when we circle the variable, we need to get rid of the 6 and the 2. Which one do we get rid of first?
The 6.
The 6. It's a plus 6 right now, so I have to subtract the 6, subtract the 6. Be careful with your subtraction here. We have a 2x left. We did not divide or multiply by a negative, and so we have this. Now, we have 5 whatevers, and we're subtracting 6. Think about money. We're subtracting something that's too big, so that changes this to a negative. You have to think, subtract, use the sign of the largest number, so I have a -1. Okay, and we have one more step. Now, if we circle the X, we still have to get rid of the 2. Since it's multiplied, I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to divide by 2. And so when this cancels out to a 1, I'm going to come on up here. It's getting weird. Okay, I'm going to come up here, and then I have an X left is less than, because I didn't divide or multiply by a negative, -1/2. There we go. So let's graph it. One line, 0. Let's find our important number is -1/2. -1/2, and it's important. It does not have an equals in the answer, so we have to leave this open because it's not equal to. And then we're going, it says X is everything less than, so it goes the less than side. This is smaller going this way. Y'all see? Probably the biggest hurdle on this one is needing to use, well, first of all, we needed to know what twice was. It's 2 times. Randy, you'll also see a word called thrice. Thrice. Thrice means 3 times. Okay, if you don't have that in your vocabulary, you need it. Thrice means 3 times. So our biggest thing right here was twice, what it means, and remembering that sum has parentheses. Then that leads you into the distributive property. Are you okay?
Yeah, I had that part figured. It was the other and solving.
Okay, the solving and everything.
All right, I got a question.
All right, who is it?
Rachel.
Okay.
Difference between 25 and factor of 11
Okay,
and
wait,
J.
just a minute. The difference between the, okay,
25.
oh, between 25
Yes.
and the,
Factor of 11 and J will be 3.
yep, that's a booger. Will be 3. Okay. Let's get you up here closer. That last time was a little. Is this correct?
No, the.
I can't hear you if you're saying something, Rachel.
Where it says and there's no the.
And factors
Yes.
and an S on it.
No.
Is this correct now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What does difference mean?
Subtraction.
Okay, and it's also one of those words that tells us to do what?
The parentheses.
Parentheses, you're exactly right. And right afterwards, it will tell you the two things that need to go in there. So difference between 25, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult, not too bad. It says the difference between 25 and factor of 11. Factors mean all of the numbers that will multiply to get 11. So the only two numbers that will give 11 is 1 and 11, right? There's nothing else that will make 11. So we're going to use 11. Because 1, you know, 1 is kind of invisible, right? So that's why we're using the 11. Oh, it says the factor of 11 and J. So 11J will be is equals 3. Weird, right? Okay, and now let's solve it. I'm going to write it again down here so that I can show you the solve. Okay, here we are. All right, now when we get ready to solve this, of course, we're going to put our line down through the equal sign, and we're going to circle our variable, which is right here. Okay, now it's very important to write down your parentheses. It's very important because sometimes you're going to have to divide this by something or multiply it by something, which we did in the last problem. In this case, we're done writing the problem and there's nothing I have to divide and there's nothing I have to take times. So I can erase my parentheses now. Okay? And when you do that, you can see when we divided our fraction and circled our variable that the things I have to get rid of is the negative 11 and the 25. Okay? Negative 11 is the best friend. So we're going to get rid of the straggler. Now, before we know what to do with that straggler, we have to know what the sign is on this. This can be confusing. This is not the sign for 25. The sign is always on the left-hand side of the number. So if there's nothing showing, it's a positive. And if we want to get rid of a positive 25, we have to subtract 25. Before we do anything, we go to the other side and subtract 25 to balance our equation. We know now that if the numbers are the same and the signs are different, this is a zero pair, or they're called additive inverses of each other. So what I have left over here is negative because this sign goes with the 11. It's negative 11J equals, looking at this, I had a little number and took away a bunch of stuff. So that's going to tell me my answer is going to be negative. And then I find the difference between these two, which is going to be 22. Okay. Now when I circle my variable again, the J is funny. Then I know I have to get rid of the negative 11. Now I'm not going to add 11 because the way the J is hooked to the negative 11 is multiply. And so the way that I get rid of multiply is to divide. So I've got to divide by a negative 11 and divide by a negative 11. Now, if this was an inequality sign, this would be where we change the sign, okay? Because we're dividing by a negative 11, but that doesn't happen in equals, okay? So our answer is, we know 11 divided by 11 is strictly 1, and we know that two negatives in a fraction cancel each other out and make a positive answer. So I have a 1J is equal to, and again, two negatives in a fraction cancel each other out. And so I just divide 22 divided by 11 and I get 2. And we know that this 1 stays invisible. So I have J is equal to 2. It's a big one, Rachel, and that was a good one for you to ask about. Is there any question that you have about that process?
On the one taking the two negatives and canceling those out.
A negative and a negative, two negatives in division equal a positive. Two negatives in division equal a positive answer.
Okay, that will help me out a lot.
That again is the rules of the negatives and positives. Okay. I think I had some people leave. I need to keep track of that. Looks like just maybe one. So would that have been Mary that left? Did Mary leave?
She's here, but I think she's on her phone. Irene's still here. Vanessa's still here, and Naomi. They just got off their phone.
Oh, okay, that's fine. And she can come back in using the same invitation if she wants to.
Okay.
But she's still here?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just my job to keep up with your
Oh,
hours.
I know.
All
I
right.
know. Mhm. Thank you.
Rachel, did I answer all your questions for now? Okay.
I'm writing it down.
Oh, okay. Do I need to move it down a little bit?
Oh no, I'm writing on the negatives in division
Oh.
cancels out to be positive.
I've got it. Okay. Did anybody watch the video last night to tell me whether the Blackboard was better?
It was a lot better.
Yay. Okay, that's what we'll do until we get a smart board, and then we'll start experimenting again. Okay.
Miss Deborah?
Yes.
Hey, is it okay if I log out? Because it keeps logging me out.
That's fine. That's fine. Just let me know when you leave, okay?
Okay.
What did you say the radius was?
Ratio, it is a fraction. It means divide. Hmm.
Hey, Miss Deborah,
Yes.
I have my ladder and transfer paper for you.
That is so awesome. Will you just leave it on my desk with my calendar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I will sign that tomorrow. Irene, I need to talk to Irene just a second. Can I grab her real quick? Irene, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Okay. I still didn't find your ladder. And I emailed downstairs and they said it should be with your last teacher. Which teacher was that? I didn't hear. Well, you're on mute. I just, let me.
The science teacher,
Okay, and that was,
Clara.
it was Sally Tabor,
No,
Carla Lamb.
Clara.
Sarah who?
What's her name?
Is she the lady next door to me right now?
No, downstairs from the office. Clara, or that
There's a
tall
Carla,
Carla, that one.
Carla Lamb.
Yes.
Okay, I will email her, but if that doesn't work out between us, I need you, when you go back downstairs, when you get done here, just go by and ask her about it, okay?
Okay.
But I will also email.
Okay. I'll swing by when I leave.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
And then you subtract it by 11.
You have to leave early today? Okay. Be sure and sign out, okay? Okay. See you tomorrow. Doing okay, Rachel?
Yeah, I'm not tired. I just woke up, my eye was burning. I'm just crying.
You're crying. I make you cry every day, right?
Miss Deborah.
Yes?
I was writing down a problem, and I'm not sure if I got it right.
Okay, talk to me.
Okay. It's radio of sum of 15 and 7. I'll let her write.
7?
Let's see. Of 15 and 7.
Oh,
Times H
times.
to 3.
Say the rest.
H to 3 is 12.
I didn't hear this word.
H to 3 is 12.
Okay. You found a good one. Okay. Okay, I'm going to teach you something, and the others can listen if they like, or they can look at the video later. But when you see ratio, it's going to go with this. You know, when you see ratio, we know that we're going to have a fraction, something on the top and something on the bottom. Oh, okay, we're going to have something up here and something down here. And the 2 is where it changes. Okay, so it says the ratio of, okay, the sum, when we see this, we're going to have the sum, right? Okay. Of 15 and it's not just 7, but it's 7 times h. So 7h. And then it hits the 2. So that says we're done with the top and we need to put something on the bottom. 3. Is means equals 12. So I'm going to copy it bigger. This thing right here, the ratio and 2, is something we haven't talked about. So you're asking excellent questions. Excellent questions. So what this needs to look like is the ratio. That means we're going to have a divide of the sum of 15, and then we hit the and, so that knows that tells us that we're going to have the other piece right here. It's going to tell us here 7 times h. And then the 2 tells us, okay, time to go at the bottom. 3, because ratio and 2 kind of go together, is 12. Now that's the first challenge. The second challenge is that we're going to solve this, right? So if it's okay, it's going to take several steps. So I'm going to erase this top part. Are you okay with this? All right.
Yes.
This one is one that I would like very much for you to put a star by it and bring it back up again tomorrow. All right. We're going to solve this. And our first 2 steps, we already know what they are. And now, we notice that the H is up here inside this locked building. So I can't just go up and pull this 15 out. And I can't just go up there and pull the 7 out. Now, a minute ago, do you remember when we said, okay, I can just erase the parentheses? That was because I didn't have anything else with it. This time I have something that is keeping that locked. Okay, so I'm going to have to get rid of this guy so I can unlock that building, okay? Okay, so right now, if I want to get rid of the 3, I have to look and see how it's connected to the rest of the problem. The 3 is connected to this by what?
Multiplication or division?
This is division, right? It's division. And so to get rid of division, what's the opposite of division?
Multiplication.
Multiply. So since I'm dealing with a fraction, I multiply out to this side. So I'm going to multiply by what I want to get rid of, the 3. I'm going to put it over 1 because I'm dealing with a fraction. And before I do anything, I have to do it over here also. I didn't put that one over 1 because I don't need it. Okay, so what I see here is I have a 3 on the top of a fraction, a numerator, and I have a 3 on the bottom of a fraction, a denominator, and they will both divide by the same number, right? It's multiply, so I can cross cancel. This divided by 3 gives me 1. This divided by 3 gives me 1. They cancel out. Do you see? All right. And when they cancel out, this guy is gone because he's 1 now. 1 times 1, that's gone, right? On the bottom. Up here, I have 1 outside of a set of parentheses. So I'm taking 1 times 15 and 1 times 7h. Okay? This guy's gone. 1 times 15 is 15. And I'll put the plus sign. And 1 times 7h is 7h. I follow with the equal sign, and on this side, 12 times 3 is 36. Okay, then it starts to look better when you got rid of all the parentheses and the fractions and everything. So now, if I circle the variable, it gets easier. I can see that I'm going to work on this side, and I've got to get rid of a 7 and a 15. Okay, which one do I get rid of first?
7? I mean 15.
Because 7 is the best friend. He waits till the end. So I'm going to get rid of the 15. The sign on the 15 right now is a plus. So I subtract 15. And before you do anything, don't mark out anything. I'm going to move this up. That kind of got weird. Before we do anything, we're going to have to show it on the other side also. So I don't want to even circle it out, nothing. Subtract 15 over here and draw my line. Then I can start working. So on this side, I know that if the numbers are the same and the signs are opposite, it's a 0 pair. All I'm left with here is a 7h equals, I take 36 plus a negative 15, but it also looks like 36 minus 15. So you have a 21 right here. Okay. Yay. Okay, we have our new student is coming in today, and I want to introduce her to you. She'll be coming in just a minute. She is going to be a remote. Her name is Isabel. She's been trying to come in for a couple of days and been having a little bit of trouble. So as soon as she comes in, we're going to talk to her and introduce her. Okay?
Alrighty.
She's still connecting to audio. So let's finish, Rachel, with you. When we get to this point, we're going to circle the h because that's our variable. And that tells us that we still need to get rid of the 7.
21.
No, we have to get rid of 7. When you circle the variable, that says, look at this side. It says, ignore that side. Look at this side.
Okay.
So what I have to get rid of is what's with the h because I want the h to be by itself. Okay?
Okay.
Isabel, if you can hear me, I can see that you're still trying to log in. We'll talk to you when you get in. Okay, since I have to get rid of the 7, and do you see why, Rachel? Let's look at this again. When I circled the variable, that's what I want to leave alone. And so I look on this side of the equation. Ignore that side. Look at this side. And what is with the h that's still causing problems? It's the 7, right?
Yes.
When they're crammed together, what operation is that?
Multiplication.
And so the opposite is
Division.
division. If I do it on this side, I have to do it on this side. Draw my line and start to work. 7 divided by 7 is a 1. So I'm left with 1h and equals on the line. 21 divided by 7 is 3. And we don't write the 1. So the value of h is 3. Isabel, yay! Can you hear me? Let me see. Isabel, I can see you, but I can't hear you. Okay? Can you hear me? if you're having trouble, it's showing that you're not hooked to your microphone yet. But I can see that you're on. I can't see your picture yet. If you can hear me, text. Oh, good. Good, you're connected. Are you connected now?
Yes,
Oh, good, Isabel, yay.
finally.
I'm glad you're finally on. We were having a hard time. Were you able to get it on your iPad?
No, ma'am.
So are you on a computer or your phone?
I'm on the phone right now. I
Okay,
couldn't get into the tablet.
okay. If there's any way that we can get face to face long enough to figure it out, I would be glad to help you figure that out.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what I was thinking to do it today.
Yeah, we may need to do that. Today, I'm feeling quite under the weather and didn't figure I better come
Okay.
today. So I'm Zooming from my house today, but
Oh, okay.
be okay tomorrow. Now, our instruction is
Okay.
today, our formal instruction, but since I'm Zooming from the
Okay.
house, I'm going to stay on the full time. So as
Okay.
far as what you have today, I'm not sure that you're going to be able to work with us anymore until you look at the video. But I wanted to make sure that you're on. Now, if you want to, you can stay on with us, and then I can send you some worksheets, but you will definitely need to
Okay.
look at the video. Is there any chance I can see your face
Okay.
today? I would love
Yeah.
to.
How do you do it?
Well, there's a place,
You hit one?
I don't know, that says show
Here.
video or something like that.
Should be
Yeah.
a
What is
camera.
it on you guys that are on the phone? Is there anybody that can tell her how to turn her picture on? How did you all turn your picture on? No?
I hit
Hang on, I'm looking it up.
no.
Okay, what I'll have to do is just see you face to face, maybe.
Hey, Deborah, it says, what was it again? Join with video. It will ask that.
Okay. Did you hear that, Isabel? It says something about join with
Yes, the
video.
only thing that I have start video, share, and
Yeah, start
participate.
video.
Okay. You get it now?
No,
Can you see me now?
no. What else does it say on your phone? Tell me again.
Share and participant.
Maybe try share.
Chat.
Share with the video.
No, I can't get in.
Okay, well, that's okay. That's a minor thing for today. What I would like for you to do is, if you don't want to go back clear to September 1st and watch all the videos yet, I would suggest,
I've been watching some of them.
okay, good. The things we're doing right now are translating expressions. And today and yesterday, we are also dealing with inequalities. So those would be the papers that I'll need to send you. But if you will text me after you watch a video and say, I need worksheets on this, I will send them directly to your email for you to print out.
Okay.
Okay, as soon as you're
Okay.
ready. So you are absolutely welcome to stay on with us today. Where were you able to get the link the easiest? Was it on text or was it on your email?
The text that you just sent me?
Oh, that was the easiest? So I will do
Yes, I
that.
opened it.
Okay, I will still include you
Okay.
on the email, but, excuse me, but I will make it a point to send you a link in your text also to tomorrow's. So now that you know how to log
Okay.
in, that would be great because you're going to be my remote student, right?
Okay.
Are you, that's what the plan is, that you're going to study with me remotely on Zoom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, instead of in
Yes,
class.
ma'am.
That's perfectly fine. I will look for you tomorrow and invite you in. You'll just be in the
Okay.
waiting room for a second. I'll see your name and then I'll click you in just like I did today.
Okay.
So you are absolutely welcome to stay with us today, but mostly we'll be watching people working and getting coffee. So, and laughing
Oh.
every once in a while.
I'll
Because we
probably go
have,
back.
go ahead. Oh, you muted again.
Yeah, I'll
There you
probably
go.
go back to all the
Okay.
stuff,
You
all the
said
videos.
you will go back and look at the videos right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be the best for us today. I'm glad that you figured out how to get in to our Zoom so you can get in with us at 8:45 tomorrow morning.
Well, I have the app on my tablet because I went with the was it Desiree? I think it was
Okay.
Desiree that showed me how. And I
Yes,
have the Zoom on my tablet, but every
okay,
time I click on it, it tells me meeting, join meeting, and I don't know what else.
uh-huh.
I mean, I can bring my tablet or you can work me through. I don't know if you can.
That would be fine. Can you do that tomorrow to come to class or
You don't.
when would be a good time for us to get together?
I can go tomorrow.
Okay,
I can.
why
I
don't you
can be
go
there tomorrow.
come tomorrow at 8:45, or if you want to come at
Okay.
8 o'clock, I mean 8:30, I can help you get in before we
Uh-huh.
start the Zoom. You want to do that?
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Okay, I can
Yeah, I'll
help
be
you at
there.
8. Yeah, I'll help you at 8:30, and then at 8:45 is when we start the Zoom, okay?
Okay,
I'm
sounds good.
looking forward to seeing you.
Me too.
I'm so glad we're finally getting together. Okay, well, if you
Okay,
want to go ahead and log out, you can go look at those videos and then let me know what kind of worksheets you need, okay?
okay, I sure will.
That sounds wonderful. Okay, nice
Thank
to
you.
see you. Bye-bye.
Same here. Bye.
Here was the last problem we worked on, if anybody needs that.
Hey, Deborah,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna go ahead and leave.
Okay, just be sure and sign out.
I will. Thank you.
You guys are tired today. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Randy, did you zone out on me? Nope. Okay.
My mind's still sharp even with 4 hours of sleep.
You came in a hungry boy. Are you hungry all the time?
Not really.
No.
I need for you to write this down.
All right.
It's a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's 3 multiplied.
Did you say 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, keep going.
Multiply by the double of x.
that correct?
F,
Okay.
not S, F. And the is of up top. Where you said 3 multiplied
Uh-huh.
by of. Not the.
Just double.
Double of. Okay, hang on, I'm sorry.
Okay. Just read it off of there and I'll check.
Double of F.
I
She
can't
has
hear.
it right so
I
far.
can't hear Randy.
Okay, it's 3 multiplied by the double of F minus 9. The equivalent of 15. I mean 215.
To what?
15.
Is that it?
Yes.
All right. Let me move this down because it's in my way. Okay. So, okay, 3 multiplied by, okay. So we know we're going to have 3 multiplied by, okay? So I've taken care of that. The double means 2 times. So put that in your vocabulary. Double means 2 times. By the double of, this could be interpreted several ways. By the double of F.
See, that's what I was having problems with.
Would you put a great big star by that? Because what I've got to look at, this could be written several different ways. The double meets 2 times. Okay, that's true. But I don't know if they want F minus 9 or if they want the double of F minus 9. So I'm going to have to look at that before I tell you, because the way they have it written, it could be done several different ways. So put like 2 stars on that. Okay?
Okay.
I appreciate you bringing that one up. Thank you.
That one is, I'm looking at it.
Randy, I hear you part-time, but you're kind of breaking out. I hear you and then I don't hear you and then I hear you. Just take your mute off, completely off. Can you take it off? There. Now see if I, okay.
What I am looking at on it, by what it is saying, yes, it could go off of several different ways, in fact. But with it saying double of F and then minus 9, I would look at it and say, okay, what they're saying is basically 2F minus 9.
See, it could be that,
That's
or you could have F minus 9 in parentheses. So it's 2 different ways. What I'll have to look at is to see which one they're talking about, okay? I don't think, I see what you're saying, Randy, but it could be 2 different things. So we're just going to attack it.
That one would be more of looking where you have F minus 9, but
Yes,
then it being in parentheses with a 2 in front of it.
yes, see, that's another one that I'm thinking that it could look like.
That is actually more looking at it, focusing on just that part. That's actually what it's more reading at.
Rachel, do me a favor. Do you mind sending me a picture of that question and then just turn it over and take a picture of the question with the answer? Can you do that for me and send it to me text?
That's right.
2, 3 parentheses 2F minus 9. Yeah, that would be it. That's what first wave was actually how they were going there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's great. That's right.
There is, it's because Randy has his mic on. That's what's happening. Randy, can you turn your mic back off?
Yes, ma'am.
You were getting a backslash or backflash or whatever you call that. Were you able to send it, Rachel?
Yes, I was.
Did you send it email or did you send it text?
Text.
Text?
Yeah.
Oh, I have it now. Thank you. Wow. It writes it a third way. So we're definitely going to talk about this one tomorrow. Okay, Rachel and Randy?
Okay.
Okay, thank you for the picture.
You're welcome. Do you have a paper, one of those paper punchers for the
Yes,
hole?
it's over there by the pencil sharpener. You see
I
it?
see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, everybody else left, so it's just it's me and Randy.
I heard somebody talking.
I was just letting you know that everyone left except for me and Randy.
I was wondering. Okay. Thank you. Are y'all still in there for a while?
What?
Are you still gonna stay for a while?
Oh yeah, we're gonna stay until 12 or 12:30.
All right. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Go outside. Do you need to go outside?
I got one for you.
All righty. I'm ready.
15.
You're going to have to talk on Rachel's because you go in and out. I only hear pieces of what you say.
Okay, there you go.
Here's what we have. 15 more than 3 times a number is at most 7.
Good one.
You want to turn that one off? And
Good one, Randy.
or mute it.
Miss Deborah, it's all right if I leave video on Zoom since that way we cut an echo out?
That would be great. Mhm.
Do it this way. There we go. Now we ain't got
Okay.
that echo.
Okay, sounds better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now
I
we
don't know what
have less of
happened.
an echo on this one.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to your volume, but your microphone would go in and out and in and out. Okay. So what does more than mean?
I know that's going to be a same thing as greater than.
No, well, yes, you are correct. So what operation is that?
It's
More than? What does it mean?
It's it's adding.
Add. I heard add. Do we know something special about more than?
Equal to. Is that what that is?
Maybe it's a switch phrase.
Yeah, it would be a switch phrase.
Okay. So we have to have this. Okay. So we know we have a plus, and we know that the 15 goes after this stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, just a minute. My dog wants in. Okay. Now, it's not just 3 that we're going to put here. It's 3 times a number. Okay? Now, when they say a number, you have to just, since we don't know what this number is, we're just going to call it a variable. X is what we're used to, right?
Yes.
So it says 3 times X. So 3X is going to go here. Because more than was a switch phrase. This means add, but we switch places. 3 times a number is 3X. That goes on the front, and the 15 goes back. Then it says is at most. So we know that that's an inequality sign, right? Is
Yes.
at most. So the most I can have is 7. The most.
And that's
So,
one that we ran into before, which is the same thing as greater than or equal to.
this one, it says at most
Well, yeah.
is
Well,
7.
thing is that gonna be where mouth is facing the 7. So
Okay.
it'd be well, yeah, it'd be less than or equal to.
Now, I don't agree with the equal to, because at most is going to include the 7. At most is going to be big and equal. So this is going to have to be everything less than 7. Kind of. If I have at most 7 cookies, I have 7 cookies, right?
Yeah.
So it can be equal to 7.
But it can't
So-
be any more than 7.
Right. So it has to be everything less than 7. Wait a minute. I think you are right.
Yeah, because we done it
Yes.
before. It'd be less than or equal to, but it can't be any more than.
So did you know that I disagreed with you, but you argued me to the correct answer? Excellent. Excellent, Randy. Okay, do we need to solve it also, or are you okay?
For that one, I think I might be able to do. I know that in looking at it, go to solve. First thing I need to do is get rid of the 15.
Okay, so you just talk me through this then. First thing you're going to do is get rid of the 15, right?
Yes.
And so you're going to get rid of the 15, and we're going to draw a line. Okay? And then tell me what to do.
We, with the 15 being canceled out,
Yes,
we bring down the 3x
yes,
as well as the less than and equal to.
yes,
And then we also do 7 minus 15. Well, you 7 to the positive, you're taking away, so that's going to be a -8.
-8. Perfect. All right. And then circle the variable. Okay.
And then after that, because the 3x wanted to separate the 3 from the x,
Yes.
that's saying 3 times, so we're going to have to divide
Yes.
to get
Very
that
nice.
unbound.
And we
which
have to do
means
it on both
also-
sides, right?
Right. So since the 3 cancels from the top, since it's at the bottom, we can just bring the x down. Bring the less than equal to down. And then 8 divided by -8 divided by 3 would be
It's going to be a fraction, right? It's not going to come out even.
no, it's not going to come out even because the highest could go would be off of a 2.
Leave this. You leave it.
It wouldn't be 5 because 5 times 3
Oh.
is 15.
Yeah,
It'll be 2. It would be -2 2/3, But usually, do what?
It would be a negative 2/2.
Yes. But most of the time, you're not going to see a mixed number in your multiple
Besides
choice.
that, it's dealing with inequality, so therefore it's not something that they're looking for breakdown lowest form.
Right.
Not
So
in this
it's
case, I
graphic.
believe.
Zero, -8/3. Circled in with the number. Is it colored in or not?
It would be because of the simple fact that it's equal to it.
That is correct. And then,
And then it's anything less than that, which means it's going to go left.
I think you have a great understanding, Randy. That's wonderful. And that is correct. Yeah, if it doesn't come out an even, you can actually use this as a fraction and then make sure in your calculator, if you put this in your calculator, like a -8 divided by 3, it will give you a decimal. But then when you use that toggle switch, it will come back and give you this fraction in the lowest terms.
Which would be 2/2.
No, it would come back -8/3 because this can't be simplified anymore. It
Oh,
won't
yeah.
come back to mixed fraction. You just have to know how to do it. And you obviously know how. Okay?
I try.
Yes, and you do quite a good job because you try. But do you understand how we did the translation?
Hey,
That was
yes, I do.
the hardest part.
No battery.
Was that the hardest part?
Hey, it was more of when seeing that, I'm going, okay. My deal was I knew seeing more than, it's telling me it's going to switch. That's all that matters.
Switch those things, yeah.
But then I'm going, how the heck would I write into?
There was a lot of stuff in this one, Randy. There was a switch phrase, and then there was at most, and you had more than just a 3 there. You had a 3 times a number. You've never seen that. If it says a number, you choose a variable, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to get up one more time. I'll be right back.
Just had it charged too. That's why I hated doing the speech and OT on the laptop because it dies too quick.
Yeah, true. I understand that one. I'm going, wow. Wowzers. Wowzers.
Is it helping for you and Rachel to work together? Does that help?
I believe so.
Sort of yes and sort
I'm
of
still having a hard time though. Unless I see it, how the
can't
problems
hear
are
you.
worked.
Can't hear you.
I said it's still kind of hard for me, but if I watch how the problems are worked, then I kind of like get it a little bit. But as soon as it starts back to another problem, I'm like, get kind of confused on how to do it.
Okay. Rachel, the one thing that I think you're doing the best is hanging in there, because you've got to remember, this is what, your 3rd day in class?
Yeah.
4th day? And you haven't done all the back stuff that we did in September 1st, right? So
Yeah.
do not be discouraged. I'll be here for you the whole time.
I
Okay?
know.
And
Well,
use
the
those
good-
videos.
Well, the good thing is, even when I get where I have a problem,
Mhm.
I can still go, okay, I'm getting pretty well the hang of it. Where even then, with her sitting next to me, and even though we got different problems, doesn't mean that I can't go, okay, let's see what you got and see if I can help you work it.
Good. Two minds, right?
He's kind of like the tutor right now.
What'd she say?
I said he's kind of like my tutor right now.
Yeah, yeah, that works. When he doesn't help anymore, kick him to the curb.
I will.
Okay.
Oh, I like this, and this one gets to be fun.
Is it another good one?
Oh,
Ouch.
to me, it's easy, but then to some of the other students, especially that aren't catching on that easily, it might confuse them.
Okay.
And I'm going, okay. So I know I got addition, I know I got multiplication, and then figuring out the sign is also wonderful.
Okay, I'm here.
Because
You try it first and then let me
yeah,
know.
I'm going, okay, let's see. Pull off on a fresh, flip over to a fresh sheet here. I
Okay.
can talk. Let's see. We have some that tells me I'm going to be dealing with addition.
And parentheses.
And exactly. So I know, okay, there's that. So we have 2 times x and 1, which means that what's going to happen is I can put a 2 out,
2x.
but, huh?
A 2x. Didn't you say 2x?
2 times x and 1.
That's 2x.
Okay.
So that goes in the
Put
front
that
part of your,
there.
that goes in the front part of your,
Plus,
listen to me, Randy. That goes in the front part of your parentheses, right? The 2x.
yeah, the
Okay.
2, the sum of 2 times x and 1.
So
So
1
you
goes in the
have,
back of your parentheses. It should look like this.
yeah, that's what I was getting off of.
Okay.
Putting that there. Okay. Put that being in. And then we have is at least 11.
It's at
So,
least 11, so it is 11.
yeah, we have the 11 there, but then what is at least taking and saying? You know, it's going to be equal to, but it's not going to, at least would mean that you have the 11, but then you could also have more.
Yes, yes, that's
than-
exactly right. You're thinking exactly right. Where did you go?
No, my laptop died, and so Randy's pulling up his. So, yeah, we'll be back.
Okay. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, her computer died. All we're gonna do is we're gonna work off mine since it's
Okay.
on charge.
Well, your audio is working right now.
Okay, let me do something. I can since mine is on charge, I can move my computer around. There we go.
Yay.
So, but yeah, looking at it, I'm going, okay, can we say interesting?
But you figured it out when you said at least 11. So we know it has to be 11, right? And
Uh-huh.
then you said at
You
least
have
is,
11, but yet it can also be greater
yes.
than 11.
And that's why we put the greater than. You figured it out correctly. Now all you have to do is solve it.
That's
And
the fun part.
in this case, Rachel, I want to point it out to you again. We
Okay.
used the parentheses because it said the sum, okay? But when we get finished writing the whole inequality, we can look at it and see that nothing is locking the door. There's nothing here and there's nothing here. So you can remove the parentheses now, okay?
Which then you have it this way, which then puts a 2, which has it just off of this, and that being the case, 2 being X's best friend, leave it alone, which means that we would remove the 1.
How?
So that's a -1. And then we also go over to the other side and -1. Which that cancels out over here. And then we have left the 2x. Still being able to keep the sign, so we bring down that, and then the greater than equal to, and then 11 minus 1 is 10. So from there, having this, because the 2 and x is together, that says multiply. So we have to divide. And what we do to one, we do to the other. So with this, brings out the, let's go to the 2 so we can bring down the x.
Did you remember to do it to the other side and I missed it?
Yes, I did.
Right?
Divide.
Oh.
So we bring down the sign, and then
Do we flip the sign?
no, because it wasn't off of a positive or a negative.
No, we didn't divide or multiply by a negative.
So
Okay.
it's still the same,
Yes.
which allows us to bring down the x at the same side, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5.
Okay. So that's what I got. I just got a 2 instead of 5. So.
Line here, we find 0, we have 5. So because it's not negative, we'll put over here, we'll circle because it is greater than or equal to, it gets colored in.
So are you just
And
doing it again?
on the graphing,
Oh, okay. So you said something about negative and it's not a
because
negative
it's
sign.
not
It's
a
just,
negative, we
just
just
5.
put it on there. Yeah. And
But
then,
I
of
thought you
course, we
said
have it circled because
important.
of it very important and it's equal to, we color it in.
Color it in.
And what I was talking about on the negative is because it's not saying that it's less than. We don't have to worry about off of that. What we would be doing is we would be coloring in from there to the right.
Yes, because it says greater than. Greater
Right.
than 5.
The way I looked at it is when it says greater than, it's saying it's positive and it goes forward.
That's good.
Negative, look at it saying it's, when it's like that, then it's saying it can be here, but it's going to go left.
However you remember it is good. You're doing great.
Well, it also might help the other students if they were to think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would take and tell them really without them having to stop and think, which way do I go?
Mhm.
It would pretty well tell them automatically, okay, it goes this way.
Yeah. Everybody will develop their own way of thinking about it.
That's true. One thing when I brought it is not. Okay. Thank you. You gonna keep the keys? Yeah, I can. Okay.
start from 5.
We're all the way over on 6. You know where Motel 6 is off of 6-6. Okay, go up by 27. Get off towards the post exit. And you exit off. It says post and such. Or you can go off to the South Loop.
My husband.
Okay. Anyways, you continue going towards Hoka on I-27. You'll see Motel 6. You'll go past. Anyways, you go to exit, like you go to Motel 6, take that, there's 6-6, and then we're just 2 blocks down from Motel 6.
I'm bumping elbows already.
I got told something on the screen.
No.
I'm gonna miss you, you're an excellent student.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Let's do that one.
Miss Green?
Oh,
No, he's downstairs. Right across from Miss.
okay. So how long have you been on the GED?
I'm back.
I started January 7th. Real fun. And then here it is, this point, and I'm done on my lap.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, this September, doing this 9 months and just about. I couldn't say it started my taking about a year.
Wow.
Mainly what held me up is having the money to take the test. By the way, Miss Green, when I got my transfer paper and letter, she told me that she was going to miss me because of being a great student. I'm going, really? You're going to have other students.
Everybody's unique, Randy. You are a great student.
She kept telling me, I wish I could just take and clone you. That way I could have a bunch of Randys in class. What are you talking about? This world don't even know how to handle one of me. What the heck would they do with a bunch of me?
I know, right? That could be just plumb scary.
Well, I try to contain my crazy when I'm in school, but you let that out, they're going, I don't know if we can deal with this guy, and then there's a bunch of him. Can we just take it and say, run?
Yes, yes.
Let's get out of here. Let's let him have it all to himself.
Well, I think,
Hmm.
guys, I'm going to have to shut down for right now. Just not feeling very
Okay.
well. Okay? Can you handle it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be here.
If, listen to me, both of you. If you do have another question before you leave, or even after you leave, take a picture of it like you did that last one and just send it to me. And I will answer it as soon as I see it. Okay? I will write it out for you.
Well, some of these on this one, because I have, well, and point just off of today, I wiped out a whole sheet and then 4 of another.
Mhm.
So I've done right at 19 questions today.
That's good.
So I'm thinking, well, what I can do is the rest of this, because it's going to be interesting. This would be something that the rest of the class may want to see.
Well, then put a
Because remember
star
how
by
you
it.
took and told me,
Mhm.
thing as, remember how you took and told me there may be a point where I see thrice?
Make sure that you put a star by that so we talk about it tomorrow. Okay?
I got that.
It looks like
Mm-hmm.
somebody's trying to join our Zoom. I don't recognize the name at all. It's interesting. I told them they could join and I'm not getting anything. I'll wait
Was
for
it
a minute.
Jesus?
Well, that's what I was wondering. You know how I can see y'all's names and I know who's on here.
Yes.
Well, this one says 18064. There we go. We'll see who it is. Took a while to join. Let's see. Doesn't have a microphone yet.
Don't even have a picture of.
Right. He can turn the picture on. If you can hear me, the person who just came on, if you can hear me, you'll need to start your audio. And I would love to know who it is. If you would turn your video on, please. As I was saying, Randy, earlier, I sent you a text to remind you to turn off the lights, lock the door, and make sure the attendance sheet gets down to the office, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I
I
appreciate that.
got it, and I will make sure of it.
I know you will. I know I can count on you. The person that, there we go. Somebody's connecting to audio now. This is good. And video. So we'll see who our surprise guest is.
Maybe my
I'm excited. I hope you can hear me, the new person coming on. It says you're still connecting to your audio. That's good. And it says you turned on your video. So hopefully I'll be able to see you in just a minute.
That's no opinions.
Could try my ghost pepper hot sauce. Apparently.
It's taken a while to connect. Most of you, it took a while for you to connect.
I noticed that my second time when I went and reconnected, it went by quicker than it did the first time. But the first time,
Class?
I was having to get it installed and then make sure that the camera and the microphone was all working, and then waiting to join. So, you know, all that took a while on the first time, but after, pretty well quick.
Mhm. It seems like the classes go quick when we're having fun, right? And math is so
Mhm.
much fun.
It actually is. It's very interesting.
Good. Good.
And it's like I took and told Miss D, if you look at what we're doing, by having the variable in it, even though it's linear inequations,
Mhm.
it is still a form of algebra.
It's good. Well, we lost the person that was trying to come in, so like I said, I
Hold
probably
on.
ought to go ahead and sign off, but
Okay.
feel free to send me any questions that you're having trouble with, okay? That sound all right, guys?
Sounds
Yeah.
good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Talk to you later. You know I love you, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Love you too.
Love you.